Right. Okay, everyone. Well, look, what I'm going to do, in actual fact, because there are relatively few people on the call, and that's the way we intended it, by the way. So we didn't intend there to be a huge number of people on the call, because the key thing about tonight is being able to record it so that we've got something that we can show people and say, this is a snapshot of people who are doing really, really well. Okay, so it's my great pleasure to introduce you to a very, very special call tonight, where we welcome three exceptional young women that are doing fantastically well. And in actual fact, I am going to mute everyone. So Jessica, Harriet, and Romi, if you could just unmute yourselves now. Okay, are you all on?
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, great. Okay, I thought it'd be better because I could hear some background noise and someone was madly typing, and I thought, well, I think we need to get rid of that. Anyway, so a very warm welcome to everyone. And as I said, we've got a very special call tonight because we're doing a particular focus on very successful young women. Now, I'm going to try and clear out as much as I can from the call so that I can give the chance from these wonderful people to speak. But first of all, I just want to ask Romi, if you could just tell us a little bit, first of all, about your background and what attracted you to Juice Plus.
Okay. Hey guys, thank you for all getting on. I really appreciate it. Just going to apologise before I get going because I've just come out of hospital recently and I'm not really kind of like with it yet, but I'm going to do my best for you. So I got involved because my background is basically, I went into fashion design after school. Went into uni, I studied fashion design for about 4 years and also worked full-time in Topshop. But my background before that is when I was a kid, my dad's done this my whole life. So I've been on the product my whole life. I've always been quite healthy. I've always like been on the capsules. I've always lived like the most amazing life because my dad has done this for 26 years. My dad is currently got the fastest growing network marketing business in the world right now, which is phenomenal. And me and my 5 brothers and sisters have all reaped the benefits of that, like since I was a baby. So my background is kind of like, we've always had what we wanted. We've always had an amazing childhood. We kind of never wanted for anything because we had everything. My mum and dad were able to take off 9 years off work while I was about 7 to bring us up because like Juice Plus paid my dad every single month for about 9 years without having to touch it. So we were very lucky with having both parents at home, having a really big house, a beautiful lot of land, and just like being able to do whatever we wanted really. But that's kind of like my childhood. But when I got to about 14, I got to like a kind of rebellious stage really. And you know when you kind of like you forget taking your capsules and you go out with your mates and like your health doesn't become a priority. My mum and dad broke up when I was 7. So my dad was never at home with us, but we'd go and see him, and it kind of became a thing that I never really took my capsules, and I kind of like became not close with my dad. So I stopped taking my capsules, and soon, like fast forward a few years, I was like verging on size 16, really anemic. I cut all my hair. So my hair, if any of you have seen me on Facebook, I've got really long hair. It goes down to kind of like below my belly button now. But I cut it to about here, and it was all shaven at the back, and it was very short, and spent about 2 months crying because it wouldn't grow back. But I was like getting bigger and bigger, more and more tired. I used to really suffer with migraines and headaches, and I'd fall asleep. It was really funny, like my lecturer at uni actually became, like she started to know my boyfriend's name and when he'd ring because I was so poorly all the time with migraines that he used to call in sick for me all the time at uni. And I became really, really poorly and really like somebody that I really thought I wasn't. And I used to look in the mirror and get really upset with like what I looked like and who I was. And I was this person studying for a degree, really, really hard. Like my dream was to be a fashion designer. So I was working really, really hard at uni, trying to get a first, but also working full-time in Topshop retail, which anybody, if there's any young girls on the call that like work in retail, they'll know how horrible it is. Literally, slavery is horrible. So I was working really hard, and I'm one of those people that always put 110% into everything. So I used to just keep going, and one day I just like hated it, and I was just like, I can't do it anymore. And surely there's more to my life than just working in Topshop and like working really hard for other people. Anyway, I got to the day that I graduated, and I basically graduated. I graduated with a first, and I was really happy. And then I got a fashion design job, which paid me just enough. But I used to be up till 4 a.m, working my ass off, and I just was like, I can't do it. Anyway, go back a bit. My dad asked me when I turned about 18 that to come and have a look at the business. At this time, I was just going into uni, so I was not interested in what my dad did. I never even thought about what he did. I didn't ever pay attention to it because me and my dad lost a relationship when I was 7, when my mum and dad broke up. Kind of didn't ever find out what it was my dad did for a job. So I went for years not knowing what he did, and he kept pestering me for about 2 years saying, come to an event and come and have a look at what I'm doing. And I'd hear the name like John Holowati or the name Katie Ravey now and again, and I'd hear it in passing, and then I would never know who they were. Anyway, it got to like a few days after I graduated, so 2 years on, and he said, please come to an event just to fill a seat for me at an event so it didn't look so bad. And at this time, it was like really quiet in Bath, and it was literally me and my dad and some other guy doing it back in the day. And there's about 4 people in the room, and the 2 speakers were John Holowati and Emma Snedden. And all I remember thinking was like, because I used to think my dad was a doctor back in the day, because he used to walk around with these pills, and if you're a kid, that's all you kind of think. So I remember listening to John Holowati and thinking, how the hell is this guy a doctor? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So cut a long story short, he added me on Facebook that night. I then had a little snoop around his, and I became friends with Katie Ravey on Facebook that night, just from snooping around Facebook as you do. And she had posted a video of my journey to QNMD so far. And in that like 4-minute video, I like reevaluated my whole life. I was like, oh my God, I did not know my dad did this. I didn't know that you could be a young girl traveling around the world, retiring yourself, retiring your brother, helping all these people, buying the car of your dreams, buying the property of your dreams, like all this amazing stuff. And I was like, if she can do it, like I can do it. Katie's no different to me. She's just a normal girl who had a really crappy job, who wanted more, and that is exactly who I was. So I was just like, I'm going to give it a go. So I got involved. And then, yeah, that's why I got involved, just because I saw that Katie could do it, and I just was sick and tired of working my ass off for somebody else in a retail job. So that's my background and why I got involved.
Oh, that's fantastic, Romi. And so, just, I mean, whilst we're on you now, and we'll come on to Harriet and Louise in a moment. But whilst we're on you, I mean, you really have really taken the momentum forward massively with your business. Tell us what happened where you kind of thought, not that you could observe that you could do this, but you really felt that you could do it. And tell us what has really made the difference for you. What has fallen into place where you think, right, I can do this now. I can really take it all the way, and I can become a millionaire in this business. What really made it really click for you?
That's kind of a hard question. I think for Louise and Harriet, it'll be completely different. But for me, I've never ever doubted that I can't do it. I've always believed that I can be an NMD. I've been taught by my dad that you can be whoever you want in life, and you can do whatever you want no matter what. So I kind of came into this business knowing that one day I would be an NMD. But the moment that it kind of like made me like kind of like work for it and like want it and do it was after a whole lot of messing it up and failing. Like, I think that you have to go through a bit of a tough time. You have to kind of fail your way to the top in this business, I believe. Anyway, I think you have to find your own way of doing something, because at the end of the day, people buy into you. They don't buy into the product. They don't buy into a business opportunity. They buy into you because you're the person that will inspire them. I couldn't see this business opportunity my whole life. Like, my dad did this my whole entire life, and it took a 4-minute video of Katie Ravy to get me involved. So you can't be a certain way. There's not a certain way to do this business. You've just got to be you, and you've got to be inspiring to people like you, and you've just got to relate to people. But the thing that made me kind of like do it was having total utter belief in my upline, which was my dad. I made sure that I put myself in the position to find out from people about how they've done well. So my first convention was Barcelona in 2014, and I went along with my dad to the Club 39 event as this +1, and he sat me right next to Katie Ravy. And I remember I was sat there shaking and trembling. I couldn't believe I was sitting next to Katie Ravy, and it was amazing. But I sat there and I asked her as many questions as I could ask, and I wanted to find out how she did it. And then that convention like kicked it off for me. It like sparked something in my head, and I came home. I had all these notes, and I just had to put it into practice. And I think doing what I learned over and over again developed me into a person that I knew that once I got one sale, I knew I could get 10. Once I got 10, I knew I could get 1,000. It's kind of like once you can get one, you can do it. And once you get somebody in your team, you learn how to work with them. But I think like my journey's been very up and down, and like I haven't had tremendous success myself. I believe that I've worked really hard and believed in a few really good people. So I think the key to it is to look for people who are unsatisfied and believe in them, because if you get them success, it kind of inspires you from inside. And I don't know if any of you remember James Lavelle from a while ago. He said to me once, there's nothing that can't be fixed in network marketing with 5 new frontline. And it's so true, because the way it kind of kicks off in your head is when you get inspired, like wanting it for someone else is more powerful than yourself sometimes. And once you get inspired by someone else being inspired, it kind of drives you. It's really hard to explain, but go out and find a few people that want it and just work with them, help them achieve whatever it may be, because that, for me, pushed me. Seeing other people's success made me want to get more success. And I think just sticking to it every day, it's not an easy journey, but it's very easy work. So if you just continue and not let anything get in the way, it kind of just clicks in your head one day, and you just do it, and it will become normal, and you'll become very confident. I think the key is to be confident from day one. Like, be confident that what you're doing is amazing. Be confident and believe that one day you will be an NMD, because if you have a doubt, my dad always taught me, if you have any doubt in your mind that you're not going to do it, you won't do it. You have to be so focused and so driven on where you're going that you will do it, and it will just happen. It's hard to explain. I mean, Harriet and Louise will probably have a completely different way of saying it, but has that made any sense?
It's been absolutely amazing, Romi. And what I love about you is you just talk so naturally from the heart, and everybody can identify with you because you're so natural, and you're not in any way trying to put it on. You're just speaking it naturally. I just love that. So would you just now want to introduce either Harriet or Louise, because they're both in your team? And would you like to introduce them? And then we're going to bring them on, and they're going to, and we're going to hear a little bit from them, because obviously, as you said, they've got a slightly different story, of course.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go with Louise first, just because at the moment, Harriet is going through phenomenal success, and she's on her way to hitting almost QNMD, but I'm gonna tell you about her in a minute. So I'm going to go for Louise first. I think Louise's story is very similar to mine in the respect of up and down. So this is Louise. She's an SC in the business, and she is one of my very beautiful frontline. Lou, do you want to just talk about like what I just did?
Yeah, hi. So my name's Louise Harris. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Bath, and I've been in the business since the 1st of April last year. So a little bit about me and my background. I moved out at the age of 16. I've always been very independent, always wanted to be like self-driven. I've always like motivated myself and wanted to rely on myself. I've never wanted to, you know, lean on someone else or look to someone else for guidance. So that was like my sort of thing in life, to always sort of find my own path and do it myself. I had a massive goal in life, and it was to attend this private dance school. I did everything I physically could to get there. The fees itself were about £6,500, which was just ridiculous for someone who's 16 that lives by themselves. It was crazy. So that was my goal, and I knew I was going to do it. And that was the first time in my life where I actually had this massive goal, and I knew that no matter what, I was going to get myself there. I didn't know how, I just knew I was going to do it. I had every other person in my family, friends, everyone around me pretty much, bar like a couple of people, who would say to me, you're not going to be able to do it, you can't do it, you won't get in, like you can't actually sing and dance that well, or if you do get in, you won't stay. It's like everyone was pretty much telling me I couldn't do stuff, which actually spurred me on to want to do it more. I've always been very sort of stubborn in that sense. And I did do it. I spent so many hours of every single day working. I think I had 3 jobs every single day to make sure that I got to this school. And the fees finally got covered, and I did it, and I attended, and it literally transformed my life. It was the first time in my life where I finally was sort of aware of the body, how it's supposed to work, what you need to eat, and like nutrition and that sort of thing. And it really, really interests me. And I thought that was me set for life. I knew I'd always wanted to perform. I've always been very dramatic and over the top, and I've always thought I'll be acting or singing, something in that sort of area. So I thought that was me set for life. I didn't really see too far ahead to the second year. I just thought, you know, it will come round and I'll just go into second year. Not actually realising that I'd been working at the dance school, like training full time from 6 a.m. till about 7 p.m. at night, Monday to Friday. There was no time for me to study. And to work, and the school was so far away from me, traveling back and forward every day by bus and train, added on so many hours, I physically just didn't have the time to work a job to earn more money. So it came to second year, and that was me done. The school sort of just said, look, if you can't afford to stay, then you can't be here, sort of thing. And it was, I just didn't know what to do. It was like the rug had just been completely pulled from beneath my feet. I thought I had everything mapped out, that was my life, and then all of a sudden it's just completely gone. And it happened at the worst time, because the school had kind of, like, long story short, they'd let me stay for a couple of months for nothing, because I thought I could come up with the fees if I just proved to my family and everyone that said I couldn't do it that I was doing it, and I was doing very well. I thought they'd help me, but they didn't. And that was a bigger step for me to realize, you know, if you do want something in life, you really do have to just rely on yourself. So it come to Christmas time, and they just said, look, I know you're doing so well, but you just can't stay. So I found myself in January with literally nothing to do, no goal, no drive, nothing. And obviously in January there's no jobs, you can't attend like new courses or anything because they've already started. And I just thought, well, I have nothing to get up for anymore. I've literally got nothing now. And I was thankful to have my partner. I mean, he really was there for me through like that whole time. It was quite a tough time for me, and I found myself just spiraling every day, lower and lower, to the point where I just thought, don't even need to get out of bed today. I've literally got nothing to get up for. Months went by, and I was still living in my dance clothes, like my leggings and things. He said, come on, I'll take you out for a meal, I'll cheer you up. And I thought, yeah, I'll do it. I'll go out the house today. And I tried to put on a pair of jeans, and it literally wouldn't go over my knee. I was absolutely mortified. I had no idea. I held on so much weight through eating, because at dance school you just didn't eat. Like when you did eat, obviously it was very well, but performing and stuff, there was just no time, so we just didn't eat barely at all. So I took that full advantage. When I left, I just ate everything. I piled on over 2 stone in a month, and I didn't even know you could put on weight that quick, but I did. Couldn't get my clothes on, and I felt mortified. So I thought, oh my god, I can't go out, I can't see family, I can't see friends. So I just completely pulled myself away from everybody, and found myself in a completely different town, because we'd moved towns closer to where my dance school was, so that it would be easier for me to commute. So I found myself completely away from Bath and where all my family are, my friends are, and I just completely lost contact with everyone. I wasn't comfortable in my skin. I hated how I looked, how I felt. I was embarrassed at the one thing in life that I thought, you know, I'm going to do this. This is my career, had gone, and I just had nothing to show anymore. So I just didn't see anybody for a very long time. I found just eating more food sort of made me feel a bit better, but as everyone knows, it's a vicious cycle. The more you eat, the worse you feel, so then you just eat again. And then a year went by in this horrible cycle, and I just thought, it got to a point where I knew that, and I blamed everyone else. That was my thing. I blamed the school for not letting me stay. I blamed my family for not letting me, you know, use their money to stay. And I blamed everyone else around me apart from myself. And it got to Christmas time, and I saw a photo of myself, and I just thought, you need to sort yourself out. You really have hit rock bottom now. You've let yourself go. You look not how you want to look at all. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, and I knew enough was enough. So I decided to change my mindset, join a local gym, whether I liked how I looked or not. I was working full time then and earning literally nothing. I was a supervisor working at Costa, and I was earning 9p more than everyone else there. Was not appreciated for everything I did. I worked so hard. Even though I didn't like the job, I knew that I had to give it 110% because I didn't want to be the person that was, you know, so like falling short, even though they were like a supervisor. So I gave everything I did, and I was not appreciated for that at all. So that was another thing for me. I just thought to myself, I can't work. I'm not put to work a 9 to 5. I've always known I was not meant to do a 9 to 5. I was supposed to be like doing something creative, something that I enjoy, something that challenged me in a good way. So I changed my mindset, and I thought, do you know what? You need to change your situation yourself. No one else can change it for you. So I joined a local gym, started to work out, and I swear it's the law of attraction. Romi was attracted to me. Some girls in the little town that I'd moved to had joined the business, who are my uplines. They're not in the business now, but I believe that they were just supposed to be in it to find me so that I could meet Romi. They brought me in. The thing that sort of like intrigued me with the business was the money, because I was working full time for minimum wage pretty much and just not being appreciated. And to hear that Romi was not working at all and earning all this money, I just thought, that can't be real, surely not. And I saw a photo of her, they showed me a picture of her, and I said to them, no, you're being like mugged off, she's not a real person, like she's too pretty, she's not real, sort of thing. And they said, no, we'll bring you to meet her, come with us and I'll introduce you to her. So I did, and it was the best meeting that I've ever had. It completely changed my life, and now is a complete different story to a year ago, and I couldn't be more grateful for the situation I'm in now and for meeting Romi, because she really has completely changed my life. I mean, I'm on track now. I know exactly what I want in life. Yes, performing was my thing. That was me. Like, everyone knew I was like over the top and dramatic, but there's no reason why I can't get into it now, because the money's there, the business is there, the opportunity's there, for the fact that it gives you financial freedom, but time freedom as well. If I ever did want to take up a new course or something, I know now that if I want to, I can still support myself, and I can still prove everyone else wrong that tells me I can't do stuff. And that's another reason why, like, I joined the business. I joined because people sort of have always doubted me, or well, not doubted, but sort of had their opinion of what I could and couldn't do and what I could achieve. And I always knew that I could do more. And this, for me, I just saw the bigger picture straight away. I knew that it didn't matter who you were, where you came from, what your situation was. You could literally achieve whatever the hell you were to achieve, regardless of what anyone else thinks. And that just suited me down to the T. So I said yes, even though I was absolutely terrified. I don't know why I was so scared. My knees were literally shaking when I said yes. I couldn't afford the £50 to start, but I knew that it was something that I had to do to like change my life. It was only £50 at the end of the day, but to me that was a lot of money then. But I took the plunge, and I've never looked back since. So that's pretty much my life and how I am and where I am now.
Wow, Louise, that's incredible. You are so eloquent, but you are such a courageous woman. I really take my hat off to you. That is an incredible story.
Thank you.
I think we're all deeply touched by what you shared, and you've been so honest, and I think it's incredible what you've said. Thank you very, very much. And I'm going to hand back to Romi now. Romi?
Hey.
Yeah, now that was amazing. And Louise was just absolutely incredible. And what an extraordinary story, how you met her. Just tell us a little bit about actually how you did meet Louise before we go on to Harriet, because I think people will be very interested to know how that came about.
Okay, so in Bath, it's quite small, and you kind of always know someone who will know someone. And I'd always heard the name Louise Harris since I was about 13. And I never knew what she looked like, and I never had met her, but I knew who she was friends with, and I had heard of her name. Anyway, I introduced a girl called Serena, who was my front line, who got involved for similar reasons to me. She then got in her best friend, who she just got involved because her best friend did. So it was very random. She didn't really ever see the potential of the business. And she never really did anything for a few months. But then all of a sudden she dropped me a message on Facebook. I never really had any contact with her, but she dropped me a message on Facebook and was like, hey Romi, I have a girl that's interested in joining. Is there any way you can be a third party for me? So I was like, yeah, of course, babe. Like, where do you want to go? Like, what do you want me to do? And she was like, oh, she's this, this, and this. Didn't tell me her name, but I think she'll really relate to you. So I was like, yeah, of course. Let's go to the Hilton. Let's go for some coffee, and like I'll do my thing, kind of thing. And I remember getting to the front of the Hilton, and there was this really pretty young blonde girl stood outside, and I was like, is that her? Like, I don't know, because I didn't know what she looked like or what her name was or anything. So I was like, maybe that's her. Anyway, I got to the front of the Hilton, and I was like, hey, like, are you here with Chantal? And she was like, yeah, are you Romi? I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, I'm Louise. And then like we went in, had a coffee. Chantal was late. So we just started talking, and then all of a sudden she was like, oh, I'm Louise Harris. And like, I mean, it just like clicked in my head who she was, and I was like, oh my God, like, I know you. And we were just talking for ages. And I think like I've just written a comment in the chat box back to Dan about relationships and how you got to talk to people. But it's the same thing. Like, this is how I met Louise, and this is how I met Harriet as well. Is first become their friend. So me and Louise didn't even talk about the business for the first like half an hour. Like, we just caught up with each other, and we were like, we just all of a sudden became best friends. And I think that is the most important thing. And like, ever since that day, we've been like best friends, haven't we, Lou?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is, I think that's the best way to work with people. So yeah, we just met for coffee, and then she just got it. I think some people just get it straight away sometimes, and other people don't, but that doesn't matter. Louise did just get it, and then that was it, and we just worked together ever since.
Great. Well, that's an amazing story, and it brings it all to life for people when they hear something like that. But it's just so fantastic. Now, let's just move on now to Harriet. Now, Harriet, of course, is also in your team. Now, she's been in for a little bit longer than Louise. She's really setting the world on fire. Tell us a little bit about Harriet, and just, perhaps you can tell us a little bit how you met Harriet and everything, and then Harriet can come on and tell us her story, which we're so looking forward to.
Okay, amazing. So Harriet has been with me on my journey since like the very, very beginning. So as you go through this journey, like, you will get people that come and go, and it doesn't really matter. Like, some people, usually the people that take you to different positions won't be there to take you to the next position. But I've got two people in my group that have been there from the very, very get-go, and that's Harriet and her partner Dan. And it's quite funny because the way these guys got involved was, the very first person I recruited when I started was my best friend Tash, who I live with, who's down there now. She can probably hear me. She got involved because she's my best friend. When you join up, you just think, I've just got to get somebody, like, I want somebody. Just signed up my best mate. She never did anything apart from one thing. And I was like, let's do an in-home meeting. And we were so naive and we were so stupid. And we were just like, we'll do it in Dad's house and he can help. He can just do the whole presentation for us, and we'll just sit there giggling like silly little girls. And I recruited her, and I was helping her send out messages on Facebook to people. And one night we sat there and I was like, just write something like, if you want to make some more money, just come to this thing. And we sat there and we sent this message out to about 70 people. And it said something like, I mean, Harriet will probably tell you, it said something like, hey, do you fancy making an extra £1,000 a month from Facebook? If you do, message me back, or something like that. And she sent it to this guy called Dan, who I didn't know. She knew him from going out or something. She like met him once, and I had no idea who he was. Anyway, the only person that responded to this message was Dan, and he was like, is this a joke? Like, is this a false message? Like, is this not true? And she replied, yeah, no, it is. Like, do you fancy coming along to this in-home meeting? And he was like, yeah, okay. Like, so he was the one person that replied out of about 70 people. Anyway, he didn't end up coming to that because it was late notice, and we ended up cancelling that event. I think the first event you always do is a bit scary, so we ended up cancelling it because no one really responded, and we were like, it's not really worth it for one person. And you should take this as a learning curve, because the one person that was going to come to that in-home is the person that brings me in the most pay line every single month till this day. So anyway, he didn't end up coming to that. And then we were having a it was ages ago, it was a meeting in Trowbridge. It was when we were all like DD level. and my dad was the guest speaker. And we were doing this event, and we remembered that he had wanted to come to this in-home, so we messaged him again, like, you fancy coming to this event? And Tash simply said, oh, my upline will be there, like, she can meet you for a coffee after the event or whatever. And he ended up coming to that event, and I met him after the event. I don't think I met them before the event, did I, Harriet? I don't think so. But we started the event. I didn't even really know what they looked like. I didn't know who was going with them. I had no idea. We did the event. I stood up and spoke. My dad stood up and spoke. We did the whole event. And right at the end, like, I noticed who he was. He was right at the back, sat with his arms crossed with Harriet, and Harriet looked very, like, a bit confused, and, like, they didn't look happy. Like, I didn't think they looked like they enjoyed it. But anyway, we spoke to them at the end, and Dan he, like, blew me away. He was like so into it, and he knew how he could make it better. And, like, I remember Harriet saying that she knew that she could do that presentation better than the girl that had done it. And I just thought, oh my God, these two are amazing. Like, oh my gosh. And I just, like, hoped that they'd message me back for another meeting, for a one-to-one. So I met Harriet that night, but then Dan signed up, and very soon I think it became about Dan and Harriet, not just Dan, and Harriet became a very big part of getting Dan to the position he is now. So I think as a woman, you become closer to women, and as a man, you probably get closer to men just because you relate to them. So me and Harriet instantly became, like, best friends, just like me and Louise, and Harriet just got it. And, like, when you get that connection with someone, you just know, and you know that they're going to you can work with somebody, and that's how me and Harriet met. But Harriet's got a very different story to us, and she is a very respectable woman. Like, she's done everything right in her life, and she's been through a very tough time at the moment, which she may or may not say about, but she's very inspiring to me, and she inspires me every single day. I think Harriet is one of very few people, including Louise, that inspire me and motivate me. So I'm just going to hand you over to her, because she's currently SC, but has already built a business with her partner up to SSC, who will go QNMD this month. So yeah, Harriet, do you want to come on in?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for the introduction, and thank you, James, for obviously asking me on the call. It's a total pleasure. So my story is very different to a lot of people's, because, like Romi said, I started with my partner. So I signed up under Dan's name, but it was very much from the get-go a very equal playing field, that we were both working equally as hard. What Romi didn't mention was the reason Dan didn't go to that first home event was because I said I wouldn't go with him, and I told him not to go because it sounded ridiculous that you could get paid to, the way he put it was, you can get paid to, like, collect likes on Facebook, and I just thought that sounded like a total scam. The second time that he got invited to the Trowbridge event, which was in our hometown, he said, oh, please, I really want to go. Like, I just want to check it out. It's a networking event. I think it would be really cool. And I said, no, I'm not going. He goes, okay, well, I'm going to go without you. And at the time, it was in this really random derelict building, the event, and I was like, who are you even talking to? And he said he was talking to a girl called Romi Calypso, and I just assumed that was a gypsy name, and we have some local travellers in our area, and I was like, you're going to a derelict building on your own to meet some gypsy girl? I was like, hell no. I was like, fine, I'll come, but I'm not happy about it. Because at the time I was doing my PGCE, I already worked in my school, so I had a real full-on PGCE year to be a teacher. I teach drama and dance at secondary school, and I had loads of marking to do that night, so I said, fine, we're going for an hour, and if it's crap, we're walking out. And so we were quite angry when we went to the event, actually, and walked in, and it was really strange. And as Rome said, people say you join this business out of inspiration or desperation. Dan would say that he joined out of desperation because he was looking for something more in life. But for me, I was doing my trainee teacher year. I was really excited. It was the career that I built myself up for since I was 18. I'm now 26. So I was very much knew what I was doing. I just got back from a school trip to Barcelona, and it was ironic because the girl presenting said, I mean, who in here can say they've been to Barcelona with work? And I was like, me. So I was a bit cocky and a bit arrogant about the whole thing because I wasn't impressed with the speakers. for various reasons. One girl didn't like that we'd said we thought it might be a scam, and she threw a box at us that said 40-year anniversary or something on it. And I thought, wow, she's aggressive, which kind of makes sense why me and Dan looked a bit volatile at the end of the event. But what I was impressed with and what I was inspired with was the content. So for me, I hadn't long had my appendix out and I'd gained 2 stones, so I was feeling really kind of unconfident about myself, and I was looking for something, I just didn't know what. And so when I heard about the products, I was blown away. And then when you could actually earn money from it, and I saw how I thought, if these people are this bad at presenting and they're all making money, then this is what I do for a living. I stand up and talk to, yes, they might be kids, but I stand up and talk every day. So I just thought, if they can do this, I can do it. And at first I thought all my friends would get involved, which I later found out that they wouldn't. And just thought, yeah, I'm going to do this to earn an extra £100 a month and to get myself back in shape. So that's what we did. I think I soon quickly realised that this opportunity offers a similar skill set as what my job is. So in teaching, obviously, you're there to coach people, the presenting side of things, the watching people grow, kind of putting other people's needs before your own. It's all the things and all the reasons why I got into teaching in the first place. That all of the marketing, all the data, the responsibility, and accountability in 1 month. And I was like, it was almost like a sign. Oh my God. But I was able to get one customer who was like an old school friend, and she ordered the product from me, and she then said, oh, my friend wants to do it too. And I very quickly learned how to kind of get customers from a cold market, and that was really powerful. I wrote lots of lists all the time, different people's names who might be interested. And I think I very quickly learned how to become a lifestyle blogger as opposed to a Juice Plus rep. And I think that's something that a lot of people get wrong, and something that a lot of people are getting better at. So it's really important that when looking through your profile that someone doesn't think you're a Juice Plus representative, because believe it or not, you were a person before you joined this business, and you did have an identity and a personality. And you shouldn't lose that just because you're recommending a product. So I just learned to become a lifestyle blogger, to subliminally post about what I was doing. And because the business and the products were part of my life and I kind of embedded that, it was very natural for me to offer the opportunity and offer the products to people. So that kind of has been a massive platform for building my success in not being one of those, what people in our area call a Juice Plus wanker.
Well, Harriet, thank you very much indeed. I'm sorry I came out. I don't know what happened. My internet connection got very upset there, but that was absolutely superb. So everyone's just been so real and so straight to the point, and I think it's just been one of the most amazing calls that we've ever had actually tonight. But we're just going to finish up now just by going back to Romi. So Romi, you're there? Romi? Yeah? Are you there? Yeah? Romi?
You're muted, Romi.
Romi? Let's just see where she is.
Can't.
Romi? No, we're not getting anything. Okay. Romi? Romi, come back on.
I think her mic's not working.
Okay. All right. Romi, are you coming back? No, she's gone completely.
I think she's going to rejoin the meeting.
Okay. All right. All right. So, Harriet, just very, very quickly back to you. And you may not have spoken about this because I came in and out of the call because my internet connection just really went. But you're on track to go QNMD this month. I mean, that's really, really amazing. And particularly in August, which is, you know, effectively a holiday month. So tell us what is going on. Tell us what's going on to get you there then. What is actually happening?
Okay, so this month I'm going to be SSC and Dan's going to be QNMD, and then I've already set ready so that hopefully I'll be Q next month as well. So it should be double Q at Bournemouth. For us, I think the success is probably coming from we've got a really solid blueprint that we duplicate with our team, that all of our teams are doing. We base our business on events, so we can guarantee pretty much 99% success rate that if we have an event that people will join if they're in the room, and we basically we probably do about 4 events a month, and then we also have home events. So last week, all of my team all over the country all had to do a home event of their own, whether they were 1 week in a business or 1 year in a business. And so last week alone, we had about 12 events going on without us. And then that's going to lead on to our formal event this week. So we base our business on events. We always make sure that we have more than one event planned. So if somebody comes to an event, or someone can't make an event, that we can say, okay, great, bring more. If you've got some friends that might be interested, can't bring them here next Wednesday because we've got another event on. I think if you do 1 month of one event a month, people lose excitement, and you can't do that. You can't say to someone, oh, you missed this one, oh, there's another one next month, because by then you've probably lost that connection, you've lost that relationship, or they've been snapped up by some other distributor. So it's really important that you've always got events, even if they're Zoom calls. So we always base it on events. We also have massively raised expectations within our team. So the companies say that you should do your own 825 and get 1 team member a month. But what we've duplicated to our team is that you go and get 3 goal plans a month, which in turn gives you 1,005 points, and that you get 3. So I think everyone knows if you aim for something and you don't quite get it, you always fall a little bit short. So it kind of just gives you that little contingency where if you actually aim for 3 goal plans, okay, you might not quite get the 3, but you'll definitely hit your 825. Being on our own, we do everything as either a gold plan or a platinum package, and that has really solidified our business, especially in terms of keeping customers rolling out every 4 months. People, we get repeat custom, because as they say, if you build your business on shakes, you'll have a shaky business, because the reality is that after 4 months, someone's probably got the results they want from the shakes, and they probably won't reorder.
Okay.
Whereas with the capsules, they will. So if you can give them that whole all-round package, and to be honest, I always ask people, what results are you looking to achieve? But every time I know that I'm going to try and sell them the gold package, because it just suits everybody and it suits so many different needs. So you should be building your business on gold or platinum packages 100%, and that should be rolled out throughout your whole team. And if you can get them to duplicate the events as well, then that's massive for growth and great duplication.
Brilliant, brilliant, Harriet. That is absolutely amazing. Brilliant. I mean, I can see why you're going great guns. I mean, that is an absolutely amazing program you're running. I mean, really, really impressive. So, Romi, thank you, Harriet, very much. Romi, are you back now?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased you came back on again. That's absolutely wonderful.
I don't know why it went off.
No, don't worry, don't worry. It was to give us even more, sort of excitement. All right, so I'm just going to finish now with you, Romi, and to ask you, and I think a lot of people are going to say, well, look, these women are very, very successful. I mean, your dad often brings up this subject, so I hope you don't mind, but how much money do you think you've earned since you've been involved in the business?
Or
what's been your highest check that you've earned in 1 month?
just under 7 grand.
That's very impressive. That's
I
very
think-
impressive.
I think the overall turnover that I've had is probably about 50k.
50k. 50k. You reckon that's what you earned? 50,000.
With bonuses.
Yes, 50,000. That is absolutely incredible. So tell us. I mean, we didn't ask you, but how old are you?
22.
22. And you've earned 50,000. And when did you start?
July 2014.
Wow. Wow. Well, I think that's all that needs to be said, really. We'll leave with that, because obviously the call has gone on a lot. But, I think that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we are here with an unbelievable opportunity. It is such a pleasure for you to join us, Romi. Louise, thank you so much. Harriet, thank you so much. Absolutely outstanding. So we will record this, or rather it is recorded, and I'll put it out on Facebook, and you can have a look at it, and then you can use it and send it out to your people as you see fit. So everyone, thank you very much for joining us tonight. A slightly different type of call, but I think it was absolutely amazing. And thank you for joining us. And I really, really hope that you've been inspired by this evening's call. I definitely have. Okay. Take care, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye. Bye.